Ray-Pec community, this is Mike Slagle, your superintendent, back for another episode of Ray-Pec Connect. As you know, the purpose of Ray-Pec Connect is to go a little bit deeper about the information on key topics here that are important to our community, and we're glad you have joined us today. As our listeners know, our topic this year has been diving into a little more to what we mean by becoming a school district of choice, because that's something we are pretty much committed to. To date, we've explored such topics as the vast offering of students at our secondary levels, especially at the Lead Center, some new opportunities and career exploration that we have. Today, we're going to talk about some of our youngest learners, and that is our elementary school students. We have fantastic elementary teachers, as you know, staff members, leadership, and most of all, our students are doing some great things, and we've seen that time and again at some of our board meetings. We're going to dive into it a little bit later. Joining me today are Dr. Michelle Hofmann, our Director of Early Childhood and Elementary Education, and Ashley Tegenkamp, proud principal.
That's right.
At Creekmoor Elementary School. Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Hey, I want to throw a concept out and then let's just dive into the concept. Elementary schools as school choice, as a model of choice. What does that mean? Principal, what does that mean to you at the building?
I think it just at the core, at the foundation, it means that kids are going to have ample opportunities at their fingertips to explore who they are through choice, to figure out what their interests are, what their likes are, where their strengths are, where their growth areas are. And to just really, we hope that when they leave us, they know a little bit about where their passions lie and can see that little glimpse into their future.
Yeah. Now, earlier, when we started around this concept and started thinking about this, I want to take our parent experience and our student experience all the way up to the point of sometimes of religious education. Okay, because beyond that, we can't touch that. But for why parents would leave a public school district, I don't want it to be for any other reason than something we cannot provide. And to me, I think we should be able to provide everything for our kids, opportunities for everything for our kids, up into that, religious education point. If parents want to have that, then I respect that decision. They need to they need to do what they think is best. But there's no reason we can't provide as many things for kids as possible. Would you agree?
I agree. Absolutely.
Yeah. So tell me a little more about that. What have we done and what are we continuing to do at the elementary level to make that happen?
We are doing a whole lot of different things. So just some things that come to mind that are really currently exciting, I think, and among the newer things. But we have a new reading and writing resource, for example, the last 2 years. And our teachers have really embraced what is every 6 weeks. So we have 5 weeks of each unit. And then in week 6, they have what are called project-based inquiry units, where the kids get to roll up their sleeves and put their creative hat on and use lots of voice and choice in how they put their writing skills and reading skills together to solve some sort of problem or to research some sort of topic and then share what they want to do or what they want to contribute as far as what they think could be a way to solve a problem or engage in a project. And so that's been really fun. For example, we have students who, through the course of their reading and writing unit, it culminated in they did a spin-off of the television show Alone. And where they have to survive. They're dropped into this place all by themselves and have to figure out how to survive. And so our students learned a lot about geography and the science of the area in which they selected, and then what would it take to survive in that area. And the fact that that was then coupled with this television series that many of them already knew about, these were 5th graders, it was just really engaging and empowering for them to dive in and work with partners. And so they worked on soft skills where they collaborated, they co-created different presentations. They got to choose how they shared what they were thinking would be the answer to if they were the one in that episode of Alone. And so it was just a really cool opportunity to see them express themselves and really be empowered, I think is the word I used earlier in that description, because that's what we all want, right? We all want to feel empowered to make choices in our lives, and we want our students, even our youngest ones, to be able to have access to that. We also have in our science program, it's called Project Lead the Way. And in Project Lead the Way, it is all about inquiry as well. As part of that, they either engage in projects or they engage in an inquiry or engineering design process to solve a problem. So in one of those, kids have to figure out how to save a tiger who's gotten stuck in this pit around in the zoo, and they have to work with levers and pulleys and all of that, and then build some apparatus in order to rescue that tiger. Another one that I think our students maybe their very favorite. I'm sure every grade level has their favorites, but it's called infection detection. So they have even this powder where it's part of this whole mystery they're solving. So there's some sort of something going around. People start getting sick. And so they've got to figure out what is the sickness, who is patient zero, and the kids just go all in. And it's just really cool to see them so excited. But then it's not even just about the excitement. It's also about, again, empowering them to learn about themselves as learners, be able to work with one another, which is such an important skill in school, but we know in life, and to be able to figure out what's the best path to either research what they need to know, vet what they're reading, and be able to put that all together to communicate effectively some sort of proposed solution that they think is actually going to be a good or solid one, and to take feedback.
Right.
Because what we know a lot about in engineering or in science or in life is your first attempt at something isn't always successful. So being able to go through and experience that under the guidance and support of a classroom environment and a resource, but really the teacher that can lead them through, how do I handle what might be feel like failure? When instead it's really an opportunity for kids to learn and grow and to realize we absolutely can be resilient. We can climb right back up and try again. And it's kind of fun to know we can. So
yes.
this is just a couple examples.
So those are kind of curricular kind of changes, new programs kind of stuff. But I was in a classroom a couple weeks ago, maybe before the break. So it's been kind of runs together, all these kind of snow days and stuff. But it was before the break. And the teacher, upper fourth grade, fifth grade, upper elementary, came in, gave the kind of like, here's what we're going to do today, class, and gave kind of like here's what I expect of you. And then she said this. She said, so tell me how you want to show me you know this. And so some of that choice is even in how we embed our instructional practices.
Absolutely.
So what are you seeing in that, and how are you coaching that at the building level to make that happen?
Absolutely. I think that our teachers, it starts with a really good, sound, viable curriculum, I think. And we have that here in Ray-Pec. We have our proficiency scales and our kind of end of picture for our teachers that kind of gives them that map towards what they're looking for. But then with that foundation, they can take from there and figure out, okay, I know that this is the end goal. There are 5 different journeys, 10 different journeys, or 24, if that's how many kids in my class, different journeys my kids could take to get to this place. So I know as a teacher that it's really my job to know what the end goal is, to tell my kids what their end goal is, and then just put the tools in place for them to be able to pick that path that they take to get to that end goal. And that's something that we've seen shift really in education, I think, in the last really 10 to 15 years is equipping teachers and empowering teachers to know what it feels like to go from driving the train, there used to be a day where we were the sage on the stage, to letting our students drive the train. And our job now really is that, like you said, facilitator role and putting the tools in place and make sure that we're giving kids opportunities to learn some of those more soft skills, if you will, the communication piece and the collaboration piece, and that we're really intentionally working on that in classrooms, that no longer do we think those things are a byproduct of learning. Now we know that we have to really intentionally teach accountable talk and have different styles and ways that we force kids kind of into, okay, let's figure out as a team how to do this. And we give them those skills to be able to operate that way so that then we can set them free on these journeys. We've given them the tools, we've given them these soft skills that they need, that we've practiced. They know the outcome, and now they're on their way.
Right. And so how do they get to choose their topics, what do they want to do? Let's talk about that for a second, because that's part of the choice model too. I think when we think about, choice as it relates to elementary students and then secondary students, it's different. I think when you get to secondary, the choice to students are, I'm going to go to the electrical program, or I want to do, AP courses, or I want to, whatever. The elementary level, you're still guiding them a little more. And so choice is defined a little differently, but it's still choice. So when you give a student who has a million things he wants to do or she wants to do all at one time, how do your teachers, how do your staff, how do you coach them to saying, okay, let's focus a little bit and, let's really hone in on and stay with it so that we can have a legitimate learning outcome? How do you do that?
Well, I think, first of all, the intentionality of teaching all of that you just described. Teachers now understand that it doesn't just happen. Kids don't walk in with knowing how to get ready and to set forth into a task without being kind of almost paralyzed a little bit about the whole smorgasbord of things they might be interested in doing or pursuing. So I think our teachers are really intentional in, okay, what is the outcome, as Ashley mentioned, and we're helping students know, where are we at right now? What are the things that we're building towards? And then let's talk about what are interests, and helping them kind of talk through, whether it's through conferences that they have with them about, okay, great, we're in reading and we've been reading about whatever the general topic is. You are interested in this track or whatever. So what would you maybe want to know about that? And they ask these guiding questions. Again, that takes intentionality, right?
Yeah.
And so helping students still not necessarily be told, well, I think this sounds like what you should do. Once in a while, certainly somebody needs a nudge in that direction. But our goal is that we help through great questioning and that conferring model where we know our kids really well, and they know and we know our outcomes, to guide them to funnel a bit to where they can take this core nugget of something and really run with that. And I think that that's really fun to see that all come together for kids, because then that's the point at which they've turned the key and they've started the car, because now they're going.
Right.
And they're pursuing that, and it just opens great doors to research or to read on things that they have passions about. Or if it's something they're not super passionate about, even helping them, again, unlock what is it that I'm going to do to run with it, where I still have some degree of choice or voice or interest, or what angle on this topic that might not be my passion topic, but what angle am I interested in writing about or reading about, and all of that.
So I saw something cool the other night at our board meeting about really making this come alive.
Yes.
And that is your makerspace
Yes.
at Creekmoor Elementary School. So tell me about that, and not so much about the space, but about embracing that space and then using it for basically kids to write their own adventure.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it was honestly, my teachers are the ones who really wanted to figure out, how do we move down this path of choice? How do we move down this path of having the tools and materials necessary to provide these experiences for our students? And so we decided as a team, as a building team, that we needed a leadership team in this area. So we developed an innovation team, and it's a group of teacher leaders in my building who spent a year reading and researching, and they read a book together, and they've read some articles together, and they just brainstormed, what would be our big vision? How could we do this? And then they came to me and they were like, okay, here's where we're at. Here's what we learned. And our kids are ready for a space where it's open-ended. There's no constraints on where their creativity can take them. So we ended up then spending the next school year just putting together a physical space that really is only there as 4 walls to get kids, and it sounds kind of counterproductive, but it's 4 walls that gets kids into a place where they're not inside walls. Right? Where they're not boxed in anymore.
Sure.
And we can put the tools and resources from a 3D printer to green screen to cardboard is a very important part of the maker space. Pipe cleaners, rubber bands, cardboard, those things are necessities in a space like that. And I think when kids go there, like Dr. Hofmann said, it helps them to see, if they've been all over the place and we needed a little nudge, they get to start experimenting and practicing with solving some of these problems during their PBI weeks, during their Project Lead the Way units, with all of these different materials at their disposal. And they may have been thinking one thing, kind of get started down that path and realize, actually over here, I'm seeing that I could do this with technology instead, and actually have a love for coding and for Scratch. And I've got this great idea for how I can use that green screen, so we can nudge them in that way and help them explore those talents and some hidden skills that they're just discovering at elementary. So it's been very exciting for our teachers and our students this year to have that space.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I want to compare and contrast a little bit between traditionally when we talk about elementary school choice and then kind of what we're doing. Traditionally, elementary school choice, you'd have a STEAM school, or you'd have separate schools that specialized in certain things, and students had to make a choice.
Right.
Nothing that there's inherently wrong about that approach. I think a lot of school districts have embraced that. We just haven't embraced that track yet, because we think all 7 of our elementary schools are pretty special places.
I agree.
So from that perspective, as we think about the future, what else can we be doing to provide our students and our parents' choice. We talked about PBI this year that we've kind of embraced. We've talked about the Project Lead the Way, stuff like this. What else is out there? I mean, if you could dream with me, what would tomorrow look like in our Ray-Pec elementary schools?
That's a great question.
That's a great question.
Go ahead.
Yeah, no, my leadership team is having similar conversations about this and talking about like just kind of breaking down some of those traditional barriers for ourselves and talking about what does it look like to maybe think about the arts integrated a little bit differently. How do we bring those people in? Because my goodness, in elementary schools, they are serving so many of the ways our students think through art and music and PE,
absolutely.
and getting some of those things into our gen ed curriculum differently than we have before. I think that's one way right out of the gate that my staff is definitely interested in, that choice for kids and those aspects.
I agree. I also think a couple of things. I think envisioning how the parts of a day that sometimes can feel very siloed, how we can find ways to integrate those things, and within that create more of a connected, almost project feel, and where, or even an inquiry or a problem-based approach where they're all working in math and science and reading and writing to solve some sort of answer some sort of question. I think that inherently sets the stage for students to be able to select their path, explore it, work together in a very open-ended way, but all in this solution-wise, but all with the idea of we're all trying to solve this real world, even if it's a little contrived for elementary friends, but real world problem. Or this really cool project that at the end is a great way to culminate and show all the skills that I know. Yes, in sometimes traditional ways, but really the application of taking those skills and really putting it into play in a way that we think is a lot more authentic.
Absolutely.
So I think that's one. And then I think the other one is not technology just for technology's sake, but we have some technology that has great opportunity, great potential to help our teachers, but also our students harness their learning even more successfully. So we had a conversation earlier about AI, and I think that right now we are all still learning about what place that has, how it works, all of those things. There's a lot out there in the media about it and the pros and the cons, but I think, like anything, when put to great use, it can be super effective. So with our teachers, it's an enormous potential efficiency piece where it can help them really more quickly figure out if I want to do this, this, and this, and you use a system that can help you put that piece together, your lesson plan or whatever it is, or activity, then it creates more space and opportunity for you as the teacher or as the principal, whoever, but to sit and design ways in which we can do some more of these other pieces for our students. We can design some of those other projects or inquiries and things like that. Also for students, there's a lot that we are aware of that within different resources or products, some are free, some not, but where it's an intelligent, almost artificial teacher there, where it will take a student's response, and if, let's say, it's a struggling learner, or it's a student who's just ready to be stretched, and based on the student's response, it will have this, however it works, intelligent response back. That's not just some sort of rote regurgitation of, well, this is said, you always say, and every time this. So it's a lot more interactive and a lot more intuitive, so that then that can give way better feedback for our students. And whether that's a tutoring approach or it's, like I said, an opportunity to stretch a students ready to move beyond, it just has a lot of great potential as we go forward each day, month, year, that I think we will be able to see how we can harness that to, again, let kids have choices in even just where their current next step is, and to be able to push past ceilings.
Well, not only is our present very exciting, what we're doing at the elementary schools here at Ray-Pec, but our future is too. And so I can't thank you enough for being a part of that. Michelle Hofmann, Ashley Tegenkamp, thank you for being here today.
Thank you for having us.
Our best days are ahead of us in our
Absolutely.
education at the elementary level. Thank you. Ray-Pec community, thanks for listening today as we continue to explore the concept of Ray-Pec becoming a school district of choice and why that matters to our students and parents. Thank you to Michelle. Thank you to Ashley for being here today. I'm Mike Slagle, proud superintendent of this amazing district. Be sure to look for our next edition of Ray-Pec Connect coming up in February. Until then, have a great day and thank you for listening.